Microphone has been muted as I'm doing this whole fantastic intro, so that's great. So let's restart. We'll rewind, get things back in action. My name's Nubius. I actually have a co-caster here. I believe he goes by the name Desi Fresh. I'm not sure if he likes to call himself anything else.
Nope, that's fine.
Alright. Well, this is the Epic Fall Tournament. It's hosted by a medical records company, oddly enough. You don't really see that happening all that often. But they're called Epic not because they are phenomenal and they do things like 360 no-scopes, but because they keep track of your epic, as they like to say. So in terms of like a story, like a Greek tale, a little myth. But anyway, the first game of the day, as you can see, it's Tim Possible versus Team Cash Minions. And I believe that you have done some research on both of these teams, which is pretty nice of you. Because it's hard to, sometimes it does get difficult to get a little bit of insider detail as to what these players are looking to do.
Yeah, well, it was a bit more annoying than anything. It seems as though both of these teams, some of their members did play in last year's tournament as well.
So I guess there's a little bit of a connection here. So who knows? I know it's been a year. There's been a lot of shifts in the meta, but maybe these other players remember the other players' style, kind of remember what their go-to type of picks are, and that can come into a little bit of a play into this tournament. But in terms of the formatting, it's going to be several best of ones, so just a singular game between two teams, and then getting up to the finals, that's when we'll have a best of three. And so that's when the real fun begins. So initially, teams are going to kind of be banning away more popular, powerful picks, and then in the finals, probably see a couple more targeted bans coming into play, like we've been seeing in some of the more major tournaments. So solo queue, I don't know what rank you are with Desi, but between the two accounts that I play on, you'll see a wide range of Nidalee. Tristana's kind of standard, just because no one wants to deal with her late game, because it gets tough. It gets tough to handle that when you get in the late game and your team is clearly not organized. But now coming into these games, where I'm guessing these guys have played together once or twice, they have the ability to communicate. Maybe they'll leave Tristana open. They'll go for some other picks that aren't seen all that often.
Well, I'm looking through their most played champions, and it seems though Cash Minions, a number of their players really like Morgana. I see three members on their team are very adept Morgana players. So if team one, I believe that is Tim Possible. If Tim Possible did their research, we could be seeing a Morgana ban.
All right. Well, Morgana is a justifiable ban anyway, just because her hitbox is about 150 units across.
It's unfortunately though you don't really see her banned too much often anymore because of the rise of Nami. Nami's starting to get a lot more play because of Lust Boys play in LCS and Worlds.
And now here's the thing that I was talking about a month ago. It's Janna has been picking up in popularity thanks to the Koreans. And she's been kind of a priority pick. I don't know if you watched the games last night, so I don't want to be a spoiler.
No, I didn't. I went to sleep early to wake up for this, and I did not watch Cloud9, so no spoilers for me.
Alright, I will not spoil anything for you, but something that I've been trying to talk about for a while is if a team is going to lock in Janna, which is great for disengage and kiting, just pick a poke comp. Pick a couple champions like Corki, Jace, Nidalee not so much anymore, Twisted Fate, and just lean into the enemy team, siege towers, because Janna has one means of keeping your team healthy, and that's her ultimate. If that's blown just to keep your team safe while there's a siege going on, you're kind of screwed. So the Koreans have been kind of realizing this. It's almost like they baited North America into picking up Janna, and a couple other teams. It's like, all right, you guys see the strength of Janna with how everyone's picking these hard engaged teams, and now that we have you guys on the bandwagon, we're going to switch it up. And so it's inadvertent mind games almost, where for like a month and a half or so now, Janna's been the go-to. It's like if you pick Lucian Janna, you're pretty much going to win the tower pushing game. And they just completely flipped it on a dime.
Yeah, I don't see. I don't think it's likely that Janna will be picked up. No one on either team has played a lot of Janna. I've looked through their match histories and their ranked games, and no one's actually played Janna recently, so we might not see it come up this game, but I would not be surprised if we see it later on in the tournament.
Yeah, I would have to agree, especially if teams, if they finish the games quickly, they can turn on the stream and see what the overall goal of some of these teams are, especially ones that are doing fairly well. And they can get a general idea of, okay, are these guys going for hard engage? Do I really need to peel for my carry? What are these guys focusing? Are they just attacking the first thing that's in front of them? And from there, you can get some pretty good information. But that's just going to come down to how well can these teams adapt as well. Because, let's see. Can I show? I think I will. I'm going to show the lobby that we have. Get rid of the overlay. You can see some of the ratings of the players. We have a nice little range. We got some gold, silver, platinum. A diamond is in here. In only 95 games. Not bad.
I know one of these teams actually has a master.
Ooh. That could be interesting.
And it is just one. I don't know which one, but one of them has a master.
So I wonder if that's the mid laner. Do you by chance know who that master player is?
Okay, so no, not. In this tournament, there's a master player, not in these teams.
Right. I just so
My
I can
fault.
keep an eye out for it.
Oh
later.
yes. His name is MBL Gojongis on Freebird and Friends.
MBL Kajangas. All right, we'll have to hopefully sneak into one of those games to get just an idea of how he plays. Now I'm trying to find.
Well,
him.
if we look at the brackets, the winner of this game will be playing against Freebird and Friends.
All right, so we have some potential ridiculous play to look forward to. But we can't count anything out besides. It's just I'm excited to see a master play against some, because I think that we might see a couple of diamond matchups for this player. But even still, it does come down to team coordination in the end. You can have a solo kill all-star, someone that's a consistent, phenomenal player, but if the rest of your team just isn't with it that day, the enemy team still can get fed, and you can still shut down that single master challenger player without much difficulty.
Exactly. As you can see, Ecstasy and Zulu Magic, it doesn't look as though they're even ranked. So, like, for all we know, they could just be normal Cube Masters, and if they can't like pick up the game, I don't think Crazy Sweet Pandas will be able to solo carry. He'd have to be on someone like maybe Syndra that can easily burst down 2 to 3 members before falling.
Syndra is one of those picks that's so tricky because she can be a brick wall that also deals a ton of damage, or a stun bot and kind of an anchor for the team. Kind of high risk, high reward sort of play. Not nearly as bad as Fizz, per se, but still, it's.
Ooh. So
you have to have great ball management in order to really play effectively.
I looked at his most played. His most played is actually Lulu, Orianna, and Akali. Lulu and Akali are pretty iffy in terms of if they can carry the entire team, but the Orianna pick, if that comes out from Crazy Sweet Pandas, he could really set how the game's going to be played for both of these teams. Looks like we are in Champ Select now.
We are, and we're just waiting for the initial bans to come out. I guess his teams are debating as to what they really want to get rid of. Zillion going to be the first one to disappear.
All right.
Really not shocking.
No one wants to play against the Zillion. His ultimate is just really unfun to play against.
It makes things very interesting, though. And at the same time, he's very versatile. He can go mid, bot. I've seen him top every now and then.
I don't think he can do that well in the top lane, though.
It depends on the matchup. Like, up against 80, like when Alistar was the thing, not so much anymore. He would actually be great against that, because you can bomb. Meanwhile, the Alistar headbutt is 11 seconds.
Yeah.
So just the consistent damage output made him strong against that pick. But anyway, let's not go too much into it. Thresh, Yasuo, and Lee Sin going to be removed from the table. I'd say the Yasuo and Lee are pretty standard. And I'm kind of surprised that Zillion and Yasuo were banned out on the same team, because Zillion is like the soft counter to Yasuo.
Yeah, I just don't. I think blue team is just banning out the mid lane for purple team. I think they're going to send Crazy Sweet Pandas mid, and then by banning out the majority of Cash Minion's mid laner, then that will allow him to not, just take control of that lane and dictate how he wants it to be played.
All right, so now Tristana disappearing. Also on the blue side, they are looking for some priority pick that's not AD and maybe not mid. Maokai is still available.
Maokai is available. So is Lulu. Lulu is I don't think you'd want to first pick her. Mainly because then you'd give away the double AP comp you're probably going to be running.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be AP. I mean, because Lulu's still good, all right at support, a solid mid. She just gets the most play in top because she's inherently annoying to melee champions, and that's really why she gets run up there. But there's always that option of her going mid, and if you can lock in an Irelia for your team,
okay, well,
with a Lulu mid, that can work just as well. But
yeah,
go on about the Kha'Zix pick.
Yeah, we see the Kha'Zix pick. That's definitely a jungle Kha'Zix right there. And Kha'Zix, like, everyone thought that he was just a dead champion after the constant nerfs to him, but just like his entire champion concept, he evolved with the meta, and now he's seen back in the jungle. But instead of maxing your Q and evolving your jump, now you'll max your spikes and evolve your spikes first.
I've seen kind of variances in his playstyle now, where you can max his W and evolve his W second. It depends on how the team comp is oriented, because I've seen the jump leveled first, I've seen the spikes leveled first. The spikes seem to be a little bit more preferential, but it's kind of crazy to see the different types and different styles of Kha'Zix play coming through the last 2 months or so. Anyway, though,
like I see, like, I know what you're talking about, though. I think the thing is that if you're falling behind, then I think that you definitely want to evolve your spikes first, just for the wave clear and the poke. If you're getting fed before level 6, then the leap as an evolve first is definitely required, because it'll let you get the resets and just continue snowballing.
It definitely comes down to situational picks of those abilities. But there's something that you were touching on, and you were wondering where this is going to go. The Morgana getting locked in for Team Cash Minions. Now, I'm thinking that it's going to be a support Morgana, but you really can't count it out, because it depends on that mid lane pick. If Sulu Magic picks up a Twisted Fate, you could actually see Morgana go into the mid, because her damage is still very strong if she were to build raw AP.
Yeah. She does end up. You do see support on her, though. You do see exhaust on her. So
well, we don't want to divulge those summoner spells, because those are not privy to the public. Don't forget about that. And there's always the ability to trade champions after they're locked in. So you really can't count that out. We can't off the bat say it's going to be support Morgana, especially since you said there are multiple players on these teams that do play Morgana. So it's just going to be a matter of where do they go, who are they looking to shut down, and what are those counterparts going to be.
We'll have to see as the pick ban phase continues. Looks like on Tim Possible, we see the Rumble and Blitzcrank getting locked in. So that Rumble, how do you feel about that?
Rumble has been consistently strong. I think that a lot of the top tier players have just used him as a pocket pick. Like, Dyrus practiced him out the ass coming into Worlds, and he was one of those top laners that really he hasn't been changed at all, really. The biggest thing was they fixed a bug where if he was on purple side, his Flame Spitter would deal less damage. And now that that's fixed, he's a safe pick on either side, and he does pretty damn well against Maokai, assuming you can manage your scrap shield properly. But now, we've got a lot of magic damage on the side of Team Cash Minions, Morgana, Corki, Oriana, and they have a great ball delivery system on Jarvan. So they have a big flex pick in the top lane, and it's going to be rather interesting to see who they run with to go up against Rumble.
Yeah, if they pick someone that does even more magic damage, this can be
Lulu's
so
available.
easy. Lulu is available. Oh, is that a... That could be Jarvan in the top
I'm
lane.
thinking it might be a top Jarvan if they do lock in the Vi. But the Vi could also just be a hover. I would say, just looking at what the pick is... Oh, they do lock in the Vi.
Whoa.
That's
don't-
going to be fairly
That's
interesting.
yeah. That is going to be Jarvan in the top lane. This is going to be interesting. The innate burst you get from Jarvan is just so strong.
Yeah.
And Rumble is going to have to hold on to that scrap shield if he wants to survive in that lane.
Jarvan has one of the best level 2 all-ins, level 2, level 3 all-ins in the top lane. If you, granted, you have to land your flag and drag, but once you get that combo off, you've already won the trade. With your enemy being knocked up, that's 1 or 2 free auto attacks. You've already landed 2 abilities, and that easily chunks your opponent down to half health, maybe more. But now I'm just looking at the lineup between both teams. We've got kind of heavy poke for Tim Possible, and then Team Cash Minions, they're looking for the all-out engage. They have double dive between Vi and Jarvan, 2 bolt delivery systems. So Oriana, if she misses an ult, there's really not much to say about that. The onus is entirely on this Oriana. Simply just command protect and press R. That's all you need to do. And then some nice follow-up and or disengage by Meloran playing Morgana. Now, I don't have a way to clear out the summoner blockers. You just have to take my word on this. Along the side of Tim Possible, you've got Jace with Ignite, Rumble with Teleport. Teleport, any top laner should really be running that. There's just so much map pressure you can apply.
Yeah, you don't really see any top laner running any other spell at this point. It's kind of like even Ignite has fallen off on top laners. You just don't want to give up the map pressure you get from Teleport.
Absolutely. It's just, especially on Rumble, where you're looking to farm, pick up hunting guys or sorcerer shoes, depending on how much gold you have, and then just level 6, level 7, turn right for the dragon and try to get a fight. Because one good equalizer will make or break the game.
Yeah, I believe it was Cloud9 versus Najin White Shield. The equalizer from Balls completely disarrayed White Shield, and Cloud9 won because of the fight. I believe it was at group stages, so I'm thinking a bit pretty far back.
Yeah, a week on the internet is like a year in real life. But now, something that we don't see a terrible amount as of late, it's been picking up in popularity a little bit, are the early game invades. With a Blitzcrank on the side
You
of
have
Tim
to
Possible,
invade. You have to invade with Blitzcrank.
But-
If you don't try to invade with Blitzcrank, you're not playing to the champion. He's so strong in invades, and if you do invade and Morgana spots you out, you could force her to start Black Shield, and she could fall behind in the mid lane. I'm in the bot lane.
Now, the only thing that I'm concerned about with the Blitz lock-in, Oriana is great at early game scouting. Just simply toss out a command attack. The ball gives you a nice little chunk of vision. You can spot if the enemy team is running into your jungle. And that should, in theory, buy enough time for Team Cash Minions to rotate themselves either whatever buff they're starting at. My guess is Vinshiwa is looking to start blue. But it's such an easy adjustment to just run towards your other buff when you have 15-20 seconds to do so. Clean that up, take the enemy's blue, and you're back in action. But anyway, we do have 20 seconds left on the delay timer, so we will be swapping over the overlays in just a moment. But we're going to take a momentary break. We'll get back to you guys once we are loaded into the Rift, so stick around. This is the Epic Fall Tournament for 2014. My name is Nubius, joined here by my friend Desi, and we will be right back. Alright, welcome back everyone. Let's get this game loaded up properly. And we finally are into the thick of things, excuse me as I find my words. We've got Tim Possible on the blue side, Team Cash Minions on the red side, and I've got my overlay not aligned properly. So, Desi, if you don't mind taking us through this level 1 to get things adjusted.
No problem. We see Team Cash Minions. They're going straight down the mid lane. Morgana immediately going over to red buff, putting a ward over there, and they're immediately setting up for an invade. They know that Tim Possible, there's a high chance that they're going to try and get a pull on the Blitzcrank, and they're grouping up together, and the moment they spot him out, they might try to just engage, because Morgana, she'll have the Dark Binding, the damage from Oriana's ball, it'll be able to zone out Tim Possible away from the person that they do lock down, and they'll just collapse on the person. Like we see them all in the same bush, and with such good ward control over the river, they'll be able to spot out anyone that decides to poke around.
So I believe that Cash Minions did spot this one ward that was placed down here. Let's actually take a look, see who placed that. That was dropped by Kha'Zix. And there's a little trick to early game wards. If you're quick enough, you can actually click on the ward that was dropped and see who placed it down. So you can have an idea of who dropped that ward in Fog of War. You know who you're facing off against, and you can get a good idea as to where the jungler is. So I don't know if anyone was quick enough from Cash Minions to spot that ward was dropped by Dropout Bear. But it's pretty safe to assume that he will be starting red. That's just kind of the theme at this point in time of the game, where you just kind of mirror the opposing jungler. Man, I just cannot speak properly today. And then you kind of just meet at top lane.
Yeah.
Now, there are a couple of variations where some junglers will go blue and kind of work their way down for an early bottom lane gank, but that's more along the lines of if you're working against or working with an aggressive support like Leona, Thresh, where you can get that quick pick and then snowball that bottom lane.
I mean, it would work very well even with the Blitzcrank as well. So, and there's a nice hook onto Corki by the Blitzcrank, but he's taking so much damage from the Corki. There was no follow-up from Caitlyn, and that trade was heavily in favor of Cash Minions.
Yeah, it was a little bit too aggressive going in to try to get an early hook without the knockup.
Oh, Oriana though, taking so much damage. Jace using To the Skies onto him, getting into tower range. The Ignite was ticking, but it's not going to be enough.
You know, if Weef threw his Ignite onto Crazy Sweet Pandas, it probably would have been a kill onto Jace. There we go, there's level 2 hook.
There it is. But, oh, the flash from Morgana comes out, and the damage is just not there at this point. Another trade in favor of Cash Minions, and you just gotta, like, wonder, like, should you still be trying to hit those hooks right now? You're weaker. Corki's damage is so much stronger than Caitlyn out in the early levels. Like, Caitlyn has the range on Corki, but without an item advantage, can she do more damage than him?
The biggest thing needs to be if Caitlyn can time laying down a Yordle Snap Trap as the pull comes in. Because if that's the case, Blitz can get off a couple auto attacks, Caitlyn can get off a couple auto attacks, as well as her Pelt over Peacemaker, and that's that really wins those trades. At the moment, it's not happening. And Corki's damage, you can see, it's kind of ish. Meh. Yeah. He needs 2 or 3 points in that Phosphorus Bomb to really start being super effective. At the moment, he's just looking to wave clear farm for a little bit. My guess is picking up an early Sheen would be optimal, because all you need to land is 1 bind. Those Sheen procs really put on the punishment. And now this is actually good. Sulu Magic, he was hovering around. Oh, he's going right over to another trap. But instead he's going to walk away from it. Oh, this should be first blood.
He missed. First he misses the grab, and then he chooses to try and get the auto attack off, which just led Meleran to hit the binding. And from that, he just fell. Vi didn't even need to be there to pick up that kill.
But she did. Scumbag Vi. Stealing kills, report.
There it is. Stevie Q taking a lot of damage. Heal is popped. And she's away. But Morgana hits the Dark Binding.
It's Consolation Dark Binding. The heal probably did not need to be used. 90 caliber net has simply been tossed out in reverse. Would have easily projected Stevie Q back towards her tower. Would have been just fine. But better safe than sorry, I guess. Be able to pick up a couple of minions onto the tower here. And what's going to be the first buy? We're actually going to see Storm's Bowler go for a Phage first. So a little bit of health, added damage. He's going for the safer play. And why not? You already have the lead. Just keep the lead in your favor. No need to do anything terribly rash or aggressive.
The thing with that though is like you have Morgana with you, so even if Blitz Binding does a Blitz Hook comes out, you'll have the shield from binding to stop the engage. So I don't completely agree with the Phage, but it's still a good pickup. But I think a Sheen would have been a lot stronger, especially because you have the safety of Morgana.
Yeah, in terms of raw damage output, it is a good thing. It's just you can never discount the Kha'Zix coming out of nowhere, because all it takes is 1 or 2 isolation procs, and you're going to be a little bit worse for wear. Now the top lane is actually just, at the moment, it's a wet noodle fight. Actually, we see Ecstasy getting jumped in on, and he's going to be forced to head back. His teleport's still available, though, so he'll be just fine.
He has been having a lot of unfavorable trades against the Jarvan, and I think you just need to farm. Don't even try to fight him right now until you get either Sork Shoes or a Haunting Guise.
Well, the toughest thing on face off against the Jarvan is if you try to farm safe, he'll farm safe and just engage on you. If you try to be aggressive, he'll just return the trade, and that's just thanks to his raw base damage. Tack on extra 2 longswords, whereas Rumble has a Doran shield. A Doran shield is great if he was just doing auto attacks, but Jarvan's main form of harassment is his Q, and that does a significant amount of damage. It is not reduced by the Doran shield whatsoever, and that's why he's taking such a beating at this point in time.
And it's unfortunate too because he can't even get Flask. Flask would just do no good on him to somewhat get some sort of sustain. So the Doran's, it's okay, but maybe a clock 5 start would have been a lot better.
I think that's actually a safe bet. The cloth 5 probably would have been better in the long run, but he did pick up a cloth armor for himself in the meantime, so added health really isn't bad. It's just the passive from Doran Shield is doing not as much as he would have hoped. But either way, you have the second set of buffs coming around. Ooh, that was dangerously close on the hook, hitting nothing, and Crazy Sweet Pandas is in a little bit of a pickle.
Oh, but so much damage onto Weefuwu. He's forced to flash away. Vi trying to get the auto attacks down, but she's not level 6, so she couldn't lock the Jace down, and that allowed Jace to just completely ignore the Vi. After missing the Vault Breaker, there was nothing to keep Jace from going straight onto the Orianna, and she almost fell to the Jace.
And now Pandas, he knows that he's perfectly safe. He's going to keep going in over and over. Ecstasy eating a flag and drag from Dictator. Oh man, with a simple tier and a Doran's Blade doing that much damage to a Vi, he's going to be rather punishing later.
This is going to be a very interesting game. Like, Crazy Sweet Pandas is definitely going to be the must-watch in the coming minutes. Meanwhile, in that top lane, we did see Ecstasy falling to Dictator.
Brutalizer on Jarvan right off the bat with a 20 farm difference and now a kill. So that Jarvan is going to be able to instantly pick off anyone that doesn't have some reasonable amount of health and armor. So take a look down the line. Who doesn't have that right now? Jace, Kha'Zix, Caitlyn, Blitzcrank too. And Blitzcrank, he gets a little bit of leeway thanks to his passive. Almost touching the bud of Morgana there.
Yeah.
But not gonna happen.
Ecstasy, he was forced to get a Seeker's Arm Guard instead of Magic Penetration, and that's gonna do so much in terms of his damage. Like, he's not gonna be able to do any damage now to the Jarvan, and like any trading potential he might have had, it's completely gone. Like, you could see even with that Seeker's Arm Guard, a couple of auto attacks from Jarvan put him down to half health, a Q, now he's in kill range. The moment that ultimate comes off of cooldown, we could see Dictator just get a really easy tower dive.
I think that's a safe bet, especially since Dictator has 2 levels on the Rumble at this point in time. And Sulu Magic, once again, eating a binding as well as a little bit of Tormented Soil to add insult to injury.
He was out of mana, and 2, he decided to just walk up to Corki, and that's just a no-no. you never walk up to an 80 carry against a Morgana, because that's just an easy dark binding you're asking for.
And that's the benefit of having a Blitzcrank. You have that ability to pull someone from range into your territory, forcing Morgana to come towards you.
Unfortunately, that wasn't working out. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Crazy Sweet Pandas gets engaged on by the Vi, and that was a very... The moment she had her ultimate, she decided to go in the mid lane and just relieve some pressure from Weefawu. Meanwhile, in that bottom lane, now Kha'Zix looking to gank the Morgana. She does pop her ultimate, teleport from the Rumble. The Jarvan is there, bursting down Sulu Magic, ultimate onto Stevie Q. That's a double kill, and now he's onto Kha'Zix. Auto attack's coming down, and the passive from Kha'Zix is not doing enough, and Jarvan picks up a triple kill.
That is so devastating. There are no combat stats on Dropout Bear's Kha'Zix whatsoever, and he has a couple levels in his abilities. He did have the isolation, but even still, without any longswords to his name, you can see how lackluster his damage really was. Completing his Elder Lizard now, but that's a little too late. So this is going to be another 3 kills for Dictator. That was so tremendous. I think that Dictator is a little bit confident at this point in time. Is he rushing a very fast Black Cleaver, or is he working towards a Triforce, though?
That might be a Black Cleaver. That could definitely be a Black Cleaver. Just increase your damage. Don't wait the 10 minutes it'll take you to get the Triforce. Get the Black Cleaver and just immediately increase your damage output, and that will force Cash minions to immediately transition into mid game where they know they're guaranteed to win fights because of the dominance from Dictator.
Dropout Bear dropping a defensive pink ward, trying to maintain some semblance of vision control in his own jungle. Oh, he does just barely have that ward in range of the pink ward. That was very nice placement there. I don't even think that he knew that ward was down.
No way.
So a nice 2 quick pickups, and oh, we have Vi heading up into the top lane. Cataclysm not quite available, but I do think that Dictator could go to.
He goes in on... Is the ultimate from Vi? It's not up. Crazy Sweet Pandas is just gonna walk away. That was a... He pulled the trigger way too early right there. Vi didn't have her ultimate up, and he didn't have his own ultimate up, so there's no way for them to lock the Jace down.
That's fine, because they blew 2 flashes. Ecstasy and Crazy Sweet Panda's flashes are down, because they didn't really have an idea as to what cooldowns were up, so they said, you know what, let's play this safe. They almost have that tier 1 tower down, but not worth giving up 2 kills, which would then easily lead to a down tower.
Oh, a nice hook onto Morgana, and she's taken solo. But Stevie Q's on the defense, Storm Bowlers, he doesn't care, he's just doing the damage and shooting out those missiles.
Alright, so in terms of... Oh, here we go. Now we have the dive.
Tower dive. And Vi
No
just walking in. Vi just walking in and picking up that kill without any hesitation. Dropout Bear. He was looking for the gank, but the ward in the tri-bush is going to spot him out, and that just allowed them to get away. Sulu Magic, no hook coming out from him. The Dark Shield was on Corki the entire time, so there's no way for him to get locked down.
Well, at least Crazy Sweet Pandas answers with a tower for his own team, so the goal deficit isn't getting too tremendous at this point in time. But now a second tower, that's a lot of map pressure that Team Cash Minions has under their belt. And Dictator, why not? Just gonna steal away the blue. No one really threatens him. He has great escape. And what lockdown is there really on the side of Tim Possible? There's an equalizer and a slow from Rumble. He has 2 slows. Ka has a slow as well, but no one is going to be able to keep Jarvan in place.
Yeah. Looks like Kha'Zix finally realized that his blue buff was taken. He finished the Wraith camp. He should have realized that if the camp is still fresh and it's still low, Jarvan is still probably looking around. And with Rumble there, he probably could have 2v1.
I think that's a safe bet. But now, something that's very concerning is there's a severe lack of tankiness on Tim Possible. Rumble can pick up a Rylai's Zonias, and he'd be tanky-ish, but he's just not that much of a front line to combat the upfront damage as well as tankiness that's coming out from Team Cash Minions. A giant spell is just picked up on Vinshiwa, and that's a great pickup, because to me he realizes that Jarvan is fed. Jarvan should be building raw damage as he is right now, going for a Trinity Force. So we need a little more front line. We'll use the Vi as the engage. Jarvan will pick off that target. And then we can have Orianna Corki follow up from behind, get the clean up the utility damage into play.
And this is just really sad to see. Ecstasy, he was forced to use his ultimate to farm minions. Jarvan was there, so he knew he couldn't walk up to flame spitter those minions, so he's forced to ult. And that's just really sad to see.
Then Shiwa just walked by a pink ward, not an idea that there's someone ready and waiting. Crazy Sweet Pandas, well, not able to do anything. A couple of cheeky auto attacks to the Vi. But Manamune is completed.
You see the trap in there, so I'm surprised that Morgana didn't just decide to clear that. Looks like Dictator going in onto Ecstasy, immediately putting him down to half health. The auto attacks are doing so much damage. The Q, one more Q will pick up the kill, and actually the flash auto attack will do it. And now Dictator, he's going to be pushing down this bottom lane. Oh no, he's going to go back and they're going to prepare for wait.
No, he's going to hang around. He's going to take whatever gold he can because he still has that teleport threat. And there's, even with Jarvan not there, his team can easily take a
Looks like
45.
Steve Bowler putting up so much damage onto Sulu Magic. He's taking solo. The shield is going to keep him alive though. And
Just
now,
barely.
Vinishwa going in onto Crazy Sweet Pandas. He's trying to escape. The ultimate does come out from Orianna, so they don't have that going for them. But the Vault Breaker is going to be picking up the kill. And Vi and Jarvan are now insanely fed.
And then Orianna with 3 assists to her name as well. Orianna can be a terrifying burst mage. Oh, I can't even speak anymore. Steve Q is going to go down.
This is Vinishwa with a very nice wall breaker. He didn't even have to hide himself. He showed himself. He showed Kalen, hey, I'm gonna charge this on you in the face. Like there's just no way for Stevie Q to escape.
Perfect timing on the movement here, the rotations from Cashin's as well. They get the free kill onto Stevie Q, pick up the tower, and then are able to immediately move north and pick up their second dragon of the game. The gold lead is really getting out of control at this point now. Even with the odd tower pickup from Tim Possible, it's going to be so difficult for them to get themselves back in this game without any pick potential besides a Blitzcrank. If Sulu can land the one-off picks every now and then, that'll be great for that team. But at the moment, he's been just kind of missing wide left, wide right, or if he hits, it's on a black shield.
And like we saw Crazy Sweet Pandas, he was dominating that mid lane. He had so much aggression against Weef, and like he just wasn't able to capitalize on it. He never managed to pick up a kill, and the tower that he picked up, it came so late in terms of like after taking that tower, there wasn't really much opportunity to roam to top or bot lane to try and get an advantage there. And it's just like we're seeing like even though he was behind, he was able to keep back the Jace, and that's just a huge like plus on his side.
Oh, Dictator ready waiting this push. He's gonna pop out, catch Ecstasy off guard. I don't think Ecstasy.
Equalizer comes out, but it's not in the place he wanted it to be. Dictator, he was on the edge of that equalizer, and that's just not a place you want it to be. Vi, meanwhile, in the bottom lane, she's gonna gank again, and Sulu Magic, she's gonna lock down, and a double kill is gonna be going over to Storm Bowler.
1 in 13. Jarvan can probably go 1v2 at this point. You can see Drop out there trying to do anything, being forced to pop
one
his
auto
ultimate.
attack.
One ultimate, one Dragon
One auto
Strike.
attack. So, actually, the Dragon Strike missed. Sweet Pandas, though, ultimate from Orianna goes in onto him, and Orianna's trying to get the range.
Yeah, he was going for it. We thought he may have had it, but the acceleration gate from Crazy Sweet Pandas, just a little bit too much mobility. It gets rough because Orianna already used the distance, so didn't have the ability to churn out that extra movement speed. Oh, wow. Storm's Bowler being a little BM to Ecstasy. He's like, I'll take a tower shot just so I can get you down to half.
But Morgana gets caught down. The Black Shield was on Storm Bowler, so she wasn't able to put it on herself. And now she's on the disengage. Ultimate from Caitlyn comes out, but Orianna and Vi are there to help their teammates.
Now, there should be a nice little chunk of gold in the pockets of Cash
There are-
As we can
and
see,
that-
Jarvan is sitting on 2,500 gold. It's going to be a little bit more momentarily once he... Oh, he's not going to be able to take out the tower quite yet.
Dictator. Now he's on the. Whoa! Shockwave misses. Not Shockwave. The Q misses from Crazy Sweet Pandas, and the flag came up too late, so he wasn't able to escape.
Alright, so that's at least a nice little chunk of gold into the hands of Crazy Sweet Pandas. But now, what does Dictator go for? He's still trying to debate as to what item he wants to pick up next with 2,500 gold. I would not be surprised at all if he just picked up a straight Last Whisper. Because armor is bound, it's bound to be picked up by Tim Possible.
He's going for the Hydra. Increasing
works as well.
increasing his own damage. Not only will it increase his own damage, it will increase his sustainability too. Because as it is, there's no threat on Tim Possible. There's no one on the team is able to just like immediately burst him down fast enough. And even if he does get caught out, like you're gonna have to send 2 to 3 members just to lock him down. And by doing so, Cash minions, they can use that opportunity and push another lane.
Oh,
Looks like
nice little fight
Vi
there.
going in, locking down the Jace. He gets bursted down. Kha'Zix is there to try and provide a distraction. Teleport from Jarvan's coming in. Ecstasy and Kha'Zix, they're trying to escape. Stevie Q's in the back line. He was barely touched. But cleanups are coming in. Dictator using the ultimate. Stevie Q using the Caliber net to get out of it. And Dropout Bear using his spikes to slow down Dictator. But he is too fast. Stevie Q, he's out of mana. Vault Breaker getting channeled by Vi, locking down Stevie Q. Vinishwa taking a tower head, and he falls. Dictator, he's gonna pick up the double kill.
Oh man, those are some big pickups. I think in the grand scheme of things, it was 5 for 2, 5 for 3. So 6 kills. 6 kills under the belt of Tim Possible, but these 6 kills are coming a little bit too late. They're 1/3 the value of what Cash Minions has in terms of kill score.
Crazy Street Panda getting caught out, and the damage that is coming out from Dictator is insane.
The double buff is not going to get away. There's no way.
He doesn't have ultimate though. He doesn't have ultimate, and Ecstasy. Will he be able to pick up? Oh no! Oriana is there. The Shockwave comes out, and Jarvan with the double kill.
10, 1, and 2. Top lane Jarvan. This is why you
And
cannot...
oh my god,
no!
Dictator taking another kill for a triple.
Why not? Take up a couple tower shots without any armor. Ninja Tabby, but Ninja Tabby doesn't negate much in terms of tower damage. It's just flat 25 armor. He's just so strong.
He is just destroying this team. And they're going for the mid lane tower. Rumble and Caitlyn will be up fairly soon, so I don't think they'll be able to push anything. Actually, Dragon is up now, so they're going to be picking up another Dragon. This is going to be their 3rd Dragon, I believe, or 4th.
Yeah, Team Cash, this is going to be their 3rd dragon in the game, and they have been so coordinated with these objective takings. Yes, they've given up a couple kills. Oh man, it's got to feel awful to give up 6 kills when you have 21. But three dragons to their name, 4 towers. It's actually a very interesting thing that Tim Possible have been able to clean up 3 towers for themselves, considering how strong Cash Minions are.
And
Now this is something that I'm wondering about. Ecstasy picked up the Zonias for himself, but he's not worth any gold. He could have easily just gone for a couple more pieces of bigger raw damage, just the double penetration build. I would kind of ignore Abyssal against the team comp right now. And he could just keep sacrificing himself, pick up assists, getting the enemy team nice and low. And if they focus him, so be it. Blow all the resources you want on a Rumble that's worth 120 gold.
the thing is, like, the equalizers that have been coming out from Ecstasy, they've not been too much of an impact. He needs to, like, hit those in the middle of a team fight. Like, in the top lane, the equalizers that came out to try and stop the Jarvan, Jarvan was at the very edge of them, and there's a nice shockwave coming out, locking up 2 members. Dark Binding misses. Vi taking so much damage. Now Meleran, she was sending in the equalizer a bit too long. taking a little bit of damage. He has to back off. But Corky, he's going to be able to push down this tower. Stevie Q is actually, no, the entire team is low. Dictator, oh, dropout bear, missing the jump. And now, Dictator using that opportunity, locking down Kha'Zix in his own ultimate. He's down to half health. The EQ combo comes out, but the tower is just going to dissuade Dictator from continuing to dive.
He's taking a little bit of punishment, though. You can see that not having Last Whisper is making a kind of decent impact on his damage output. Kha'Zix now finally having a Randuin's to his name. And that does get a little bit tricky. When you have a jungle Kha'Zix, typically you'd like for him to have 3 damage items before he starts going tanky. Elder Lizard, Brutalizer, good in terms of mid-game items if your team has a lead. But with his team being so far behind, he's not really going to be terribly effective. We just saw that right now, how he was tickling Dictator.
Looks like Cash Minions, they're going to back off. Tim Possible, despite being behind, they've been rotating so well to counter the rotations from Cash Minions. Oh, nope, okay. I thought they were about to start a Baron, but they just ended up backing in that area.
Oh, Tim Possible, they could, in theory, start up Baron, but no. They would need all 5 members there right away. They did have a pink ward. If they could look just south of Baron, there was a pink ward that spotted Cash Minions backing out. But without all 5 members there, they just didn't have the ability to take that nearly as fast as they would like to. But now in this situation, if you're on Tim Possible, what is the call that you make for your team? How do you get yourself back into this so you can potentially win?
You need to just get complete vision control. Don't let them pick you off in your own jungle. We saw Jarvan. He picked up a triple kill mainly because of the lack of vision in Tim Possible's jungle. They need to just lock down Kha'Zix just by so many wards. Blitzcrank, you have the sight zone. Continue putting those wards down. And by doing so, it's guaranteed that Cash Minions, they're going to want to try and push. And the thing is, you have so much wave clear from the Jace, from the Kha'Zix, and from the Caitlyn that you can effectively turtle in your own base. Let them take that top tower down and just turtle in your own base. Because the thing is, Cash Minions, they have to engage. There's not too much they can do besides poke you down. There's not too much poke either from them. What is Jarvan going to do? Throw down a flag to poke? That's going to do 60 damage. And just by turtling, you'll get your farm up, and you'll have opportunities to pick someone off with the Blitzcrank, maybe with the Orianna, or even the Corki.
So there was just a bit of a 4-1 split. Oh wow. Crazy Sweet Panda's being forced to flash away from a simple Vault Breaker.
And Corki getting locked down! And he flashes away, ultimate from Caitlyn comes out, and it's not enough. That is very sad for them. But Kha'Zix is there. He's going to pick up the kill. He's going to be able to get away. He has his leap up.
He's got he evolved his wing second.
There's Blitzcrank just to stop any pursuers. And now that Corki's down,
that's exactly what Tim Possible needed to do. They need the Blitzcrank to get these individual picks, and that will force Cash Minions to play somewhat defensive, push waves out, and then wait for that player to get back in action. But now the big question is, where do they go from there? It's like, that's great, you're going to get these one-off picks, but there's still no map pressure. The warding, as you were talking about, is rather minimal, especially having 4 warding totems. The map should be peppered with wards at this point. I 100% agree with what you were saying before.
Like,
something that I think that the Rumble should do, Ecstasy, probably be looking to pick up a Void Staff. Because at the moment there's no Locket pickup, but if he were to start outputting some raw damage, it would force Cash Minions to stop stacking armor like they're doing right now. If you take a look, Randuin's Sunfire, Zhonya's, 2 Zhonya's actually, one of them was popped accidentally by Melaran when he was trying to place a ward over the wall. Hit the wrong key. But if you can just get the enemy team to look to build magic resistance, that will help out Stevie Q, Crazy Sweet Panda so
Sumu
much.
Magic getting caught out, and you don't have vision of the area. There's no reason for you to clear that ward out, especially without help from your team. And now Dictator catching out Stevie Q, and the one auto attack. This is a 4 shot. Nope, he flashes away. There's the 4 shot. And now Dropout Bear, he has to run away by using the ultimate on Ecstasy, and he's taking so much damage. Storm Bolos was tanking tower, actually. And you know what? Milliran, there's been a that was a very nice Q from Jace, picking up that kill from Corki, long range.
The empowered shock blast. This is why you can't get too cocky when you tower dive. You can't go in between tower after tower and not expect to be punished at some point. So this is allowing Tim Possible to regain a little bit more map pressure. Their inhibitors are safe for the time being, and at the same time, there's a decently sized wave up in the top lane, looking to do some little chunking to this tier 2 tower on the side of Cash Minions.
Oh wait, they're heading for Baron?
I don't know if they can fully take it right now, but it's worth
maybe
a shot.
Maybe they're baiting it. Caitlyn is on her way. Maybe they're trying to bait it out, and using the Blitzcrank pick, they'll try to get a hook onto someone and just like completely burst them down. Because as it is, despite Crazy Sweet Pandas being so far behind, he's doing a decent amount of damage. Looks like now Sulu Magic
threading the needle.
Sulu Magic, he was running away from Jarvan. The ultimate hasn't been used just yet, so he only has to wait for the EQ to come back up.
I think he's holding off on his team to be ready because Weef took a lot of punishment. He's back in base right now. Completed his zone. His zone has been completed. Death Cap is ready as well. And then just tack on a little bit of extra damage. Athene's and Sorcerer's Shoes. Still sitting on double Doran's rings. But one of those will probably disappear, if not both, once he works towards that Void Staff. But doesn't have to worry a terrible amount about magic penetration quite yet. Aegis is still not completed on the Sulu Magic. As you can see, he has 3 of the components, but still needs to get that final Combine done. And now, this is where things are looking very tricky, if you're Tim Possible. Last Whisper has been completed on the Dictator, and he's level 18. He is ahead of his highest level teammate by 2. Weef, I think, just hit level 16 a moment ago. So I was going to say 3, but once I saw the number, it seems like I'm going to look like a fool if I say by 3 levels, because then I don't know how to do math.
Well, you know what? At least you have your casting ability. Who needs math?
Who needs math when you have meth, right?
Exactly. Map. You said math or map? I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm saying.
Alright, so now they're... This is getting kind of weird. I would have thought that Cash Minions would be trying to set up some sort of big jungle pick because they have a lot of AoE. And what better place to land all that AoE in a tight little jungle lane? Now they're actually instead looking to jump onto Dropout Bear and...
They're clearing the vision. This is very smart. They're clearing the vision, and they're forcing Tim Possible to like try and play a little bit more risky to try and get some vision, and like they're clearing everything. They're not giving them an inch of vision right now.
The biggest thing though is Caitlyn is not a threat. Typically at 33-34 minutes, you would expect Caitlyn to have 3, maybe 4 items as well as tier 2 boots completed. But with the raw amount of armor, she is tickling everyone except for Stone Bowler, really.
That was a very nice equalizer, and Melloran is in threat of dying. And now Vi, she's taking 3 members by herself, and now Tim Possible, Cash Minion is in disarray. The lockdown. Jace is doing so much damage. Orianna trying to get away, but Jace is, Jarvan is there getting a 4-man Cataclysm. Soul Magic getting locked down. Now Sweet Pandas, he's on the defense. Vi though, she went a little bit too far without her team, and the tower is going to knock her down.
Alright, that was a bit of a misplay from Cash Minions. Dictator trying to do what he can to clean up. Oh, this is going to be devastating. Oh no, he's actually going to get locked down a little bit. But thankfully Command Protect is available from Leafy, which is a very substantial amount of ability power.
Oh, there it is, Dictator! Getting the EQ combo, auto attack onto Caitlyn, picking up that kill. And, like, you're right, like, the Command Protect is there, but, like, if you look, he's just so tanky. Even with only a Giant Spelt, the lifesteal from Hydra is keeping him healthy enough in these fights. There's just not enough damage coming out from Tim Possible to actually pose a threat to him. He doesn't need armor.
Well, he has a lot of armor passively. Ninja Tabi, just from auto attacks, it attacks on what would essentially be a 50 armor, so more or less that's 75 armor just from blocking auto attacks. And then there's his E passive, where he gets per level, I think it's 5 armor, so he should be seeing another 25 bonus armor there. So all he really needs to do is pick up some health, and he has that between Trinity Force, Black Cleaver, and now a completed Randuin's, which adds even more armor to his kit. So essentially the only real threat to the Jarvan is a tower or Rumble, and Rumble's damage is kind of lacking still, especially since he's terribly underleveled.
Yeah, and he didn't pick up a Void Staff like you were saying, but he did pick up Haunting Guys, so he's gonna be looking for a Leandri's Torment, and now Rumble, he's getting caught out. Dictator is there, Stevie Q taking so much damage, Cataclysm to the face, and now Tim Possible, they're on the defense. They're falling left and right. Dropout Bear, he's gonna get locked down. Who's this kill gonna go to? It's actually gonna go over to Wifu. And now Dictator, he's just tanking this tower. Command Protect is there, just trying to keep him a little bit healthier. And those Shock Blasts from Jace are just not doing enough to pose a threat. They have a minion wave. They're gonna continue pushing down. And it looks as though this game is gonna go over to Team Cash Minions.
It's a very convincing victory. 31 kills to 11. A couple of those kills on the side of Tim Possible were done just out of sheer carelessness from Cash Minions. And as we can see, the gold lead was just way too much to come back from. 22,000? Almost 23. Very nicely done by Team Cash Minions. A great team comp. Their draft phase was pretty strong. And then they just played it out from there. They just relied heavily on Dictator's Jarvan. Level 2, level 3, just going all in on those trades every single time, and clearly coming out the victor. 17-1-5. I don't think Jarvan could get a big enough backpack to carry his whole team.
Jarvan, oh my god. I'm looking at the total damage dealt to champions, and he has double that of Jace. He's double the damage dealt by Jace.
Alright, so yeah, the damage was just unreal. You really can't compare it. When you're 17-1-5, clearly you're going to be dishing out quite a bit of punishment to the enemy team. But we do have more games coming at you, so we're going to take a momentary break as we get ourselves situated in the lobby and wait for all 10 players to show up. So in the meantime, stick around. We're going to toss on some music, and we'll be back in just a few.